On the 61st episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about the Little League World Series, some MLB news, college football is underway, we're going to be ranking the top 5 most followed athletes, some NBA drama, and ending it off with some Hall of Fame, yay or nay, roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Here we got the Little League World Series. Now, Florida is playing Taiwan in the finals of the Little League World Series. Let me see if I can pull up this bracket real quick. I had a bracket up. I don't know what. Oh, here it is. All right, so yes. So in the Little League World Series, today, the day of this recording, by the time this comes out, it should already be finished. But the Little League World Series is basically there's a U.S. bracket and an international bracket, and whoever wins those, they play each other for the Little League World Series Championship. I know, World Series Championship, whatever. But you got the Southeast, which is Florida, which is like St. Lucia, St. Mary, something. It's like right next to Orlando. This team it's just north of Orlando, is playing at Taiwan, the Asian Pacific team, so they all go into like their regions, and that's what they're classified as. But if you go lower than that, Southeast is Florida, just outside of Orlando, and then Asia Pacific is Taiwan, and that is the country that they're going to be representing, and that is the area they're representing. So yeah, let's see how they get there. So one second, let me zoom in on that real quick. So I'm going to be referring to them as Southeast. So Southeast had a first 2-round bye, I believe. They so they had to play they had to play Metro. They beat them 6-1, and then so the Southeast ended up having to play the West, which the West won last year. California, I think it was LA or just outside of LA, something like that. They won last year, if you recall that. So the West has to play the Southeast, and then the Southeast beat them 4-3, and then the Mountain had to play Southeast region, and Southeast won 6-3 against that, and then the Southeast had to play against Southwest, and then Southeast beat them 10-7, and then that is how they ended up going into the World Series Championship, which they are playing here in a few hours, I believe, at the time of this recording. Again, by the time this comes out, it's probably already been played. And then the Asia Pacific, Taiwan, how'd they get there? Asia Pacific, they were in all right, so Asia Pacific didn't have a first 2-round bye, so they had to beat Canada, and then they beat Canada 8-0, then they beat Australia 11-0, and then they beat Cuba 10-2, and then they beat Japan 3-1, and then they had to face Latin America, and they won 4-1. So Taiwan's pretty good. They beat out pretty much the entire world except for the U.S., giving up only a few runs in the whole entire tournament, but obviously I'm rooting for the U.S. I'm rooting for the Southeast and my home state, Florida. Little League World Series, it's fun to play in. I never made it this high, but it was an experience these kids will never forget, especially making it to Williamsport and then on from there. So yes, make sure to tune in the Southeast versus Asia Pacific for the Little League World Series final. And then softball is, I haven't been following softball at all, but the consolation third place game is also today, and that is Latin America versus the Southwest. So tune in for all that. It's a great time. You see all these kids, they're 12 years old. They throw a ball 70 miles an hour, which is extremely fast for 12-year-olds, and then they're hitting nukes. You just hit balls and hit nukes. It's fun. It's like a very advanced version of your local Little League, except these teams are a lot better than your local Little League, unless you're from these cities, unless you're from Taiwan or the certain district in Florida. All right, so that Taiwan versus Florida, they're in Lake Mary. That's what they are. It's just north of Orlando. Tune in for that. Obviously, I hope, like I said this earlier, I hope that Florida wins and beats Taiwan. But it's looking like Taiwan's going to win, which congratulations to Taiwan. Last year, LA ended up winning. The U.S., the West, and it all it dials back down. But what else we got? We got MLB news. Joey Votto retires. What a stud. All right, so we're going to look at some Joey Votto accomplishment. So he won MVP, Gold Glove, 6-time All-Star. This is what really got me. It made me thinking Joey Votto has a 64.5 wins above replacement. If you look at the White Sox so far this season, let me pull up their stats, MLB standings. If you look at the White Sox standings right now, we are about a month away from the end of the season. They only have 31 wins. So Joey Votto in his, I don't know, let me go check. He played from 07 to 23, was that 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And it says right here, in a 17-year career, he has more wins above replacement than the White Sox he has double of the White Sox total wins so far this season. Out of the 26-man roster, he has double that in 17 years. That, for you guys that don't understand how my brain was thinking about that, that means that he was very good. That's pretty much what it means. I think WAR is the stat that really defines a player the most. Obviously, Joey Votto proves this as well. But he had over 7,200 at-bats, 2,100 hits, over 350 home runs with a career batting average of 294, which is good. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, hands down Hall of Famer. Over 1,100 hits, over 1,100 RBIs, 80 stolen bases, which is very little. I thought he would have more than that, but obviously it's Joey Votto. He's not that fast. 5'11" slugging and a .920 on OPS with a 144 OPS plus. Stud. That's all I gotta say. He's a stud. What year did he win MVP? He won MVP in 2010. He was second in Rookie of the Year voting in 2008. He led the league in so much in his career. In on-base percentage itself, he led his league in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different times. They're all in the 400s, which is absolutely insane. He played all 162 games two years in 2013 and in 2017. He had the most plate appearances, which, I mean, obviously he had the most games played. He's going to be up there in plate appearances with 726 in 2013. He had 40 doubles, which led the league. This is all league leaders, by the way. He had 40 doubles in 2011. He had the most walks in 2011, 12, 13, 15, and 17. The most amount of walks he's had in the season was 143 in 2015. He came third in MVP voting that year. I obviously already went through on base percentage. Slugging, he led the league in slugging at 600 in 2010. And then on OPS with a 1.024 the year that he won MVP, obviously. And then a 1.032 in 2017. And again, he came second place in MVP that year. Intentional bases on balls, intentional walks, whatever. It doesn't really mean much. It just means that pitchers were too scared to face him. He led the league in 2012, 13, and in 2017 with all 18, 19, and 20. And so, yeah, he led the league in a whole lot of stuff. And then the awards that he was given was Gold Glove, 6-time All-Star, and MVP. And then he played for the Reds his entire career, which you don't see that often anymore. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how else you want to describe this player except a first ballot Hall of Famer and just a great guy. He wanted a team to sign him, and then he went into the Blue Jays minor league system, never actually went up or went anywhere. He's just getting old. I mean, he's 40. He turns 50 this week. Or not 50, sorry. He turns 41 in a few days. I believe September 1st or so. Oh, no, September 10th. That math doesn't make sense at all. All right. Don't listen to Baseball Reference about his age. He's turning 41 soon, so he's getting super old. He obviously visits the stadium. He did kind of a Tom Brady. His retirement announcement was kind of like Tom Brady's. He just took the phone hey, I'm retiring. He did it in front of the stadium. So, yeah. Good for him. What a career Joey Votto has had. I mean, we've talked about him for 5 minutes so far just today. I could talk about him forever. And whatever he does in the future, whether it's with sports, without sports, he said he wants to drive a school bus when he retires. Whether he follows that, so do it. I will ride on his school bus. What else we got? Shohei Ohtani, 40-40 season in only 126 games. What? Not the greatest baseball player of all time. Can't be. No, yes, the greatest baseball player of all time, except for Barry Bonds. But without an asterisk, Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player of all time. First year in LA, he's not pitching. He's the fastest man ever to have a 40-40 season. 40-40 season is when you have 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases. He did this on a walk-off grand slam, which, first of all, let's take in mind how many great moments was just in one swing of a bat from the greatest baseball player of all time. You hit a walk-off home run, you hit a walk-off. That walk-off was a home run. It was a grand slam, obviously a game winner. He hit his 40th home run of the season, 126 games into the season, becomes the fastest guy ever to hit a 40-40 season. And guess what? Jose Siri throws that ball into the stand, so it can't be authenticated. So, yeah, Jose Siri gets a big nay. Big nay from Jose Siri. So basically, he hits this grand slam. It bounces out of this guy's hand. First of all, biggest mistake of your life, sir. It bounced out of his hand, so it goes back on the field. So it's on the field. They can authenticate it. Guess what? They can authenticate it. They probably won't sell it. So what they'll either do is give it to Shohei or give it to the Hall of Fame. Fastest guy ever to hit a 40-40 season. This ball is more valuable than any ball that you've seen. This ball is worth so much, and Jose Siri gets mad because he loses a game with a team that isn't going to make the playoffs, throws it into the stands, and now that ball is worth nothing. The Hall of Fame doesn't get it. Shohei Ohtani doesn't get it. This fan gets it, but the fan can't sell it because it's not authenticated, because it's not worth nothing, because you can't prove that it was a certain ball. But if Jose Siri just kept it, handed it to authenticator when he comes in, hey, guess what? All's right in the world. You don't got to get mad. So Jose Siri's big nay. I'm not towards hitting guys, but I would not be mad if Jose Siri gets hit with the ball. So big nay for Jose Siri. Big yay for Shohei Ohtani. 40-40, fastest guy to ever do it. The guy is the greatest baseball player of all time, without an asterisk. That's all I can say. And speaking of Shohei Ohtani, he did start throwing off of the mound a couple days ago. By the time this comes out, I think it was the 24th, 23rd, 24th. He started throwing off of the mound, which is very, very good. It looked like his mechanics were okay. He did say that he won't be pitching this season, which was already kind of established, but maybe in the playoffs. He's not going to do any of that. He's just going to work on getting his mechanics right. I'm very concerned that he's going to come back and not be good pitching, just because he's gone a year without pitching. But, we'll see what happens when he comes back. We really won't know until the first, after next year. I think we could determine if he's going to be a good or bad pitcher, whether he's going to take off from where he left off, or if he's going to start from ground zero, or maybe goes to all-time DH, maybe goes to the outfield if pitching doesn't work for him. He's still great. He's still going to win MVP as a DH, in my opinion. At least other people have their own stupid opinions, whatever. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani's thrown off the mound, looking good. First time he's thrown off the mound since his Tommy John surgery, so it's good. It's good to see him do that. Mechanics look good, accurate. We'll see what the velo looks like after Tommy John. Usually velo goes a little bit higher than usual. So yeah, looks good. Looking good. Shohei Ohtani looking good. Let's look at these playoff races, shall we? So the big playoff races, in my opinion, is the AL East. The AL Central has okay. They have the Guardians, Twins, Royals. The AL West is, I think, out of there. I think the Astros have secured that. And then the NL West. So the NL West, let's talk about that a little bit. So the NL West, the Dodgers are leading at the time of this recording. Very important. At the time of this recording, the Dodgers are leading by 3 games. The Diamondbacks are trailing by 3 games, and then the Padres are a game and a half behind the Diamondbacks. Those 3 teams really got to win. The Diamondbacks especially, I think these next, I've said it in my series Lock of the Day, HatTrick Lock of the Day, where I choose one team every day that I think will win. I did say that I think that the Diamondbacks, for the next month throughout the season, this may be the best version of the Diamondbacks we've seen in a decade. The Diamondbacks are going to go all in, I think, and again, try to attack and win this division. Now, I hope that doesn't happen. I want the Dodgers to win the division, and I think that they will. But I do think that the Diamondbacks will be going full sprint through the rest of the season. They got about 30-ish games left. 30, 40 games left. We'll see what happens there. But I do think the Diamondbacks are going to make a strong push to overcome the Dodgers. Because the Dodgers, the Dodgers are a great team. They're a great franchise, let's be honest. The Yankees and Dodgers are a great franchise. But speaking of the Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox. Red Sox, not so much. Red Sox are 8 games back. They're not going to catch up. But the Yankees and Orioles, they're going back and forth. Every day I'm looking at the standings, and it's either the Yankees or Orioles. I mean, they just got to keep winning games. The Yankees recently lost to the Rockies 9-2 in New York. Cannot happen. I'm telling you right now, that cannot happen. The Yankees, they got to be better than the Diamondbacks. Like I was saying, the Diamondbacks are going to go through a sprint. They're going to sprint to the end. The Yankees really got to do that if they want to win their division. And if they come in second, whatever, they just got to play the wild card. It's not that big of a deal. But the Yankees, you just can't lose to the Rockies in a situation that you're in. Can't do that. And then the Orioles are a game, again, at the time of this recording, this is guaranteed going to change by the time this comes out and TikToks and Reels and stuff are made about it. They're a half game behind the Yankees, but they just keep going back and forth. I think it's just going to be strength of the schedule from here on out to see who's going to win, who's going to win the AL East title. And then what else do I want to talk about? The AL Central, you got the Guardians, Twins, Royals. They're all within 2 games of each other. Guardians are in first by 2 games, and then Twins and Royals are tied 2 games behind them. I don't think that the best teams in the league win the World Series. Like, obviously, you saw the Rangers and Diamondbacks play, whatever. Like, I don't think that happens often that the best team plays in the World Series, but I do think that the Guardians are going to win the World Series. I'm saying it now. I've said it before. I think that the Guardians are going to win the World Series. I would like the Dodgers to. I would like it to be Guardians-Dodgers. I think that the Dodgers may be able to win that. I don't know, but I don't think the Twins and Royals are going to do much in the playoffs if they make the playoffs. Again, we still got a month left. Yeah. So yeah. What else we got? Let's talk about the White Sox, man. First of all, they suck. They're 43.5 games back. They have, again, at the time of this recording, they are 31-99. Let that sink in. We are about a month from the end of the season. They have exactly 32 games left at the time of this recording. They have 99 losses. They were out of the playoffs a month before the next team is going to be eliminated from the playoffs. Excuse me? Like, White Sox, come on. You got one guy I really want to talk about and I feel bad for is Garrett Crochet. He's turned out to be a bust because of the White Sox. Now, if the White Sox traded him or whatever, I think Crochet would have had a good future. Maybe he will have a good future, but as long as he's with the White Sox, he's not going to be good, and he's not going to have the potential that he's not going to show the potential that he has, which is like very upsetting to me. I hate seeing good guys being stuck in bad teams. I think that's it just kind of makes me mad that good guys with good potential like can't show just because they're on a bad team. So yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got on the White Sox. That's what I got on the playoff races. Oh, let's talk about what should we talk about? Let's talk about Babe Ruth. Baby Ruth. All right. Babe Ruth's called shot Yankees jersey fetches record $24 million. So obviously we all know the called shot from Babe Ruth. Now, whether was he pointing at the bullpen, was he pointing at the dugout, was he trying to tell somebody to do something, or was he calling his shot? We will never know. Unless we can go back in time, thousands and thousands of years, we will never know if you called this shot. If baseball's still a sport in thousands of years, you got to keep that in mind. Baseball probably won't be a sport in thousands of years. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, his jersey that he was wearing, which I don't know how they authenticated, if they authenticated it. I don't fully understand how that works. It was so long ago. That jersey is just sold for $24 million. That is quite a bit of money from a jersey. Now, I understand it's Babe Ruth's jersey. Like, for guys that don't know baseball, people say that Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player of all time. And again, I don't think that. I think that people that don't watch baseball think that. But yeah, that jersey just went for $24 million. Let's read some stuff on it. And perhaps the most anticipated sports memorabilia auction ever, the jersey worn by baseball legend Babe Ruth when he called his shot in Game 3 of the 1932 World Series was sold for $24.12 million, with Heritage Auction setting an auction record for most expensive sports collectible. The sale of the New York Yankees road Ruth jersey, which includes the standard 20% buyer's premium, was available to the public for the first time in 19 years. The previous record price for any sports collectible sold at auction was for a rare mint condition Topps 1952 Mickey Mantle card, which sold for $12.6 million in 2022. The Ruth jersey also far eclipsed that $10.1 million that a Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls jersey from Game 1 of the 1998 NBA Finals fetched at auction that same year. The last time the Ruth jersey sold at auction was 2005, when it went for only $940,000, but it was only linked to the 1932 World Series, not with the Game 3 and the jersey that he wore during the called shot when Ruth made the pointing gesture while at bat and then hit the home run into center field off the Cubs pitcher Charlie Root. But multiple companies in recent years photo matched the jersey to Game 3 of the World Series at Wrigley Field, which increased the value exponentially. Now, exponentially means that it was worth 4% of what it's worth now. So, yeah, just think about that. In 19 years, they did that much research. And, I mean, whoever bought it 19 years ago bought it for almost $1 million. What an investment. The ROI on that jersey was, times 24,000%. Wow. So, congratulations whoever did that, whoever sold that. Let's go to NFL. Not NFL. Let's go to football. College football is underway with the season opener in Dublin, Ireland. That wasn't a good accent. I don't know how they talk there. But FSU versus Georgia Tech. What a game. So they both started off. Florida State, boom, touchdown. Let's go for 2. Boom, 8-0. They're winning 8-0. They're projected to win by a whole bunch. You're crazy if you thought Georgia Tech would win. Psych. Georgia Tech comes back with a touchdown. They countered that with a touchdown. And then Georgia Tech ended up winning that game off of a game-winning field goal, sending all of Florida State fans nuts, crying, whatever. They were in a deep sorrow for days. At the time of this recording, it's only been a day, but I'm sure they are still very, very upset about it. They don't want to talk about it. I'm from Florida. There's a lot of FSU fans here in Florida, and not a subject to talk about in public. Just if you guys are in Florida, whatever, just don't talk about it to the FSU fans. They're not happy about it. Obviously, the QB they decided not to show up, decided not to throw over 5 yards, whatever. I do understand. I think they were ranked high. They were ranked 10th to start off the season, and losing, again, 10 guys to the draft or whatever it was, I do think that was a big impact on the game. But yeah, they did lose a lot of guys in the draft. They were probably ranked a little higher than usual, and now, guess what? They're probably not going to be ranked. They're not going to be ranked. And this, again, the expansion of the 12-team playoffs really does help them. But again, if they just kept it at the top 4 in college football, this game would have lost them their playoff chances. Let's just put it that way. But that's enough for the start of college football. Again, I'm filming this in Florida. There might be somebody coming in my door about to beat me up for talking about this game. Not actually. Don't. I don't mean that literally. Falcons signed quarterback AJ Terrell to a 4-year, $81 million contract. All right, let's take a look at this contract. Yes, Falcons signed cornerback AJ Terrell to a 4-year, $81 million deal. A week after acquiring 2 Pro Bowl newcomers, the Atlanta Falcons have reached a deal with one of their longtime top players, signing cornerback AJ Terrell to a 4-year, $81 million contract. The deal includes 65.8 and effectively full guaranteed, sources say, which represents the largest guarantee ever given to a cornerback on a 4-year agreement. The contract was negotiated by Terrell's agent. By his agents. Terrell is now the second highest paid cornerback on a per year basis of $20.25 million. That trails only the Green Bay Packers cornerback, who makes $21 million per year. So congratulations, AJ, on making $20 million a year. I mean, if you want to give me like $100,000 a year, I'll send you my bank info. All right, what else we got? Oh, we're going to do a few of these today, but we got the top 5 highest paid QBs in the NFL. Now, this is a per salary base. Now, this isn't total contracts. This is a salary-based thing. So, at number 5, you got Jared Goff at $53 million a year. Give me the money. At number 4, you got Tua Tagovailoa at $53.1 million salary, just by $100,000, which, again, to them is no big deal. But for the average American, they would gladly take $100,000 a year. But that is at number 4. Now we got a 3-way tie at number 1. They are all at $55 million a year. You got Jordan Love, you got Joe Burrow, and you got Trevor Lawrence. No particular order. They are all the highest paid. They are all the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL right now at $55 million a year. So, congratulations on being rich. Again, like I said about AJ, you guys can give me my money. You guys can give me your money. I'll send you my bank info any day. All right, on to the NBA drama. All right, we got some NBA drama in here today. Is Steph Curry being traded? Is he going to go to a new team, a different team? He recently changed his Instagram bio from guard for the Warriors into Olympic gold medalist, which is true. Maybe he could have added that instead of removed the Warriors thing. He still follows the Warriors on Instagram, but there is a lot of talks going around that maybe he might be moving teams. He did say a few months ago, I don't know if you recall this, he pretty much addressed this, saying that that he's always wanted to stay in Golden State for the entirety of his career, but he wants to win, which is respectable. I mean, you spend your whole life working to win and win and win, and when you can't always win, it's kind of hard. Like, I understand he has great potential. He could go to a team that will win, but he's also in a predicament where he wants to stay in Golden State. So, will he get traded? Will he get moved to a different team? I don't know. I would like to see it happen. I kind of want to see Curry in a different uniform, but, we'll see. I'm sure there will be some news on this in the next few months. This is going to be an ongoing topic. I think this will be an ongoing topic. But let's move right along to the top 5 most followed athletes on Instagram. Now, this is on the IG, on Insta, whatever you want to call it. At number 5, you got, I believe, the only American on this list. You got LeBron James at 155 million followers. He's the only basketball player on this list, the only American, I believe. Unless he's not. I think he's the only American on this list. At number 4, you got some football. No, I'm just kidding. We are in America. Neymar, soccer. He is at 219 million followers. And again, yes, it is soccer, not football. This is America. I'm going to address it as soccer. So, at number 3, a guy I've never heard of. He plays cricket. Virat Kohli. I don't know if I pronounced that right. He's a cricket player. He has 266 million Instagram followers. Again, I apologize if I did not pronounce that right. Well, I know I didn't pronounce that right, but I apologize to you, sir. At number 2, another soccer player, not football, soccer player. And again, this guy should be saying soccer instead of football because he's playing in America. 6% of the entire world is following him on Instagram. You got Messi, Lionel Messi, with 500 million Instagram followers. 6% of the entire world. Think about that. The entire world, 6% follow him. Now, obviously, there's different companies and agencies that follow him, so it's not going to be exactly 6%. But you get what I'm saying. And then at number 1, Cristiano Ronaldo, Sui, 622 million Instagram followers. This guy is breaking records on social media. I believe he started a YouTube channel that is already surpassing the biggest of big YouTubers. So congratulations on your following. I think that's a valid way to end that. All right, let's move on to my favorite segment, Hall of Fame, yay or nay. All right, for Hall of Fame, yay or nay, we got somebody that may never play baseball again, or he may play next season. I think he'll play next season. But Trevor Bauer, does he belong in the Hall of Fame? Now, this is not controversial, but I don't think he has the stats to prove it. He's played 10 he's played 10 years in the major leagues, from 2012 to 2021, and then he got into some legal issues. Not guilty. I will give that to him. He was found not guilty on any of the charges, so he is an innocent man. He is allowed back to baseball. Now, a lot of teams don't want to sign him because of his history with other teams and the controversial court cases that he had, lawsuits and stuff that he had ongoing. But let's just take a look at some of these stats. So, first of all, what awards does he won Cy Young. He won Cy Young in 2020. Again, that was at the peak of his career. And then obviously he kind of fell off there. He had the ERA title, the lowest ERA at that time. That was, I'm not exactly sure what year that, oh, here we go. That was in 2020 also. Again, you could say Mickey Mouse here. I don't really care. We still won the World Series. I don't want to hear it. But yeah, 1.73 earned run average is diabolical. That is why he won the ERA title that year. And then he was an all-star. I believe it was just 1 year in 2018 when he was with the Indians or I don't know if it was the Indians or Guardians at the time. It was that team, though. He's played on a few different teams, the D-backs, Reds, Indians, Guardians, Dodgers. I don't know. I would like to see him with the Dodgers. Dodgers need some pitching. Everybody's unhealthy. Everybody's hurt. But that's not what we're going with here. We're going with, does he belong in the Hall of Fame? Now, he did give up the most walks in 2015 with 79. He also led the league in ERA plus with 288 in 2020 with a fielding independent pitching with a 2.44 and with home runs a game with half. He gave up half a home run every game, which is really good. He led the league that year in that category. What other stats? 21.1 career wins above replacement. He's a pitcher. You can't hold that against him. 83 wins, 69 losses, 3.79 ERA, which is pretty sweet nowadays. 222 games played, 212 starts, 1 save, almost 1,300 innings pitched, 1,400 strikeouts, and a 1.243 whip. Yeah, it's an A. Maybe if he comes back and restores his career and comes back how he left off, maybe. But no, it's a big nay for now. I didn't really look at his stats. I just saw the name. I was like, yeah, that would be a good Hall of Fame, yeah or nay. But yeah, big nay. Big nay. All right, I think that's it. Thank you guys first of all for you guys on TikTok Live. I'll stay with you after this podcast. But thank you guys for watching the 50. Or sorry. Oh, what's up? Hold up. Thank you guys for watching the 61st episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You can go to Shop HatTrick Sports for some amazing merchandise at shophattricksports.com or the shop app, or email us so I can send you some stuff that way. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, including YouTube for all the visuals. And we will see you guys next week for episode 62.